Good afternoon, Jeremy. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks. Thanks for having us. You guys hear me okay?
We do, loud and clear. Jeremy, thanks for taking the time to be on the show. Let me introduce you formally, Jeremy. Do I say your name Croiset? Is that the right way to pronounce your last name?
It is. One of the few people that's ever said it right.
Well, points for me. Jeremy
Yeah.
Croiset from NASA, or as it's officially known, National Autosports Association. Jeremy, let's just dive right in. I want to start with a few statistics here to get the conversation rolling, which is that currently, if I have my numbers right, NASA has 20,000 members. You did 300 track days over 47 tracks. You have 18 race series plus 8 time trial series. So you guys are pretty busy. So yeah. as my dad likes to say, how's business?
We're going like gangbusters. It's such a privilege to work and lead a team of so many people that have all of the same interest in bringing in new people to the world of motorsport and giving them the perfect opportunity to funnel into whatever area of motorsport they end up. But most of the time, the bug is driving, and we have one of the most unique products in the country that basically allows anybody with zero experience to come out with a safe, operatable car and participate in a track day and start to learn the ropes of high performance driving.
Yeah, it's actually a great segue into something I want to dive into, because there are a lot of things about NASA that I think are relatively unique. One of them is that if we look at your 18 different race series, unlike the rest of the racing world, which gets into this sort of alphabet soup of class structures and names, you guys have taken a kind of a novel approach. And what I mean by that is you have a class that's called American Iron Extreme. There's a class called German Touring.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that approach, why you chose to create the categories in that way, and ultimately what's the benefit, not just to you as a series, but to the people that are participating.
You know, it's interesting. We have a handful of series that are devoted specifically to a marquee, so to speak. Honda Challenge is a perfect example. Specific to Honda and Acura, right? German Touring Series, which is all about BMWs, Audis. And then we have our Super Touring category, which is strictly power to weight. And it's an extension or an evolution, I guess I'd say, of our performance touring category, which was supposed to be and still remains one of the easiest. I guess that's a little loaded answer. There's a little bit of a learning curve to figuring out where you fall and what your car will end up classing into, but it's the absolute easiest way to take any car, regardless of prep, and stick it into a race class and have something that's ultimately competitive in a track environment. So we've had good success in cultivating both sides of the market space with marquee specific series. American Iron Extreme, you mentioned, is all about pony cars, right? And then we also have the other side of the business, which is the Super Touring side, which is not so much the alphabet soup, but it's, you know, one through 6, and it's super simple to figure out. I've got a Honda and it makes this much power. Where do I fit, right? We have an online classing calculator that lets you go through and put your stuff in, and bam, you've got a class. So we've brought a lot of unique attributes into the world of motorsport and introduced a number of things through innovation, and we just continue to do that every year.
Take me back though a little bit to where that thinking started in, because clearly by taking that path there was a problem or a challenge that you were trying to resolve. And what was that thing that you were saying, hey, look, if we get away from class 1, 2, 3, 4 or A, B, C, D or whatever the nomenclature is, and we use this kind of system, what problem are we solving?
I think it's probably a product of being willing to take risks and chances on things that other groups may think would fail. And working directly with the folks that are, passionate about this particular marquee product, whatnot, and then using that as the focal point to grow something brand new and expand from. And I think that's a number of our products. Spec E30 is a perfect example of that. Honda Challenge was yet another perfect example of that. You had these key individuals in the market space that were just ultra passionate about helping to grow this particular thing, and then taking the risk and putting the muscle that NASA National has behind these things to kind of give it the air to inflate the sail and power it to success.
And was the response to that change a gradual thing, or was it sort of immediate? Was it a light bulb moment for a lot of people who maybe were looking to get involved in participating in motorsports, and they didn't either have the patience or the background or the whatever to understand where and how they do it, but that was a light bulb moment, like, hey, I have this car, it races here?
I think you could probably find examples of both, quite honestly. Some are light bulb moments without a doubt. Others are just grown from a passion about that particular vehicle or marquee or even product, right?
Yeah. What are you guys? I mean, the series obviously, 20,000 members is not small. 300 track days a year is quite a lot. What are you guys doing to sort of manage the growth? And in particular, how do you keep all of those different groups happy in terms of simple enough to go racing, but flexible enough, I guess, for them to be competitive and to bring their know-how and maybe a little bit of, engineering expertise into the equation without bending or breaking the rules?
I think it's twofold. The first, like any good business, is people, just really highly qualified, passionate people that are empowered to do the jobs that we're seeing year after year. The other side is the unique nature that NASA brings to the table with our HPDE, high performance driving events, part of the business. And it's just a continual funnel. Like it or not, motorsports and the people that are enthusiasts of motorsports have a life outside of motorsports, and sometimes life gets busy and pulls people away. So it's been a really powerful advantage for the business to be able to continue to funnel new people every year. We introduce thousands of people into the world of motorsport. We've been fortunate enough to work with Toyota, the largest auto manufacturer in the world, to create a pretty revolutionary program that allows anyone that purchases a GR, a Toyota GR, whether it's a GR Supra, GR Corolla, or GR 86. They get a year membership to NASA, complimentary of Toyota, and they get introduced to the track and do a track day with NASA, one of our key, highly successful instructors around the country. And, we've introduced thousands of people just through that program, let alone all of the organic side of NASA's business that just continually brings people into the fray.
Yeah, that's awesome. What has been the response from the Toyota ownership side to taking up that offer? Has it been strong?
It's been really strong. It's met and exceeded expectation, which is good and challenging. But it's just an absolute privilege to work with such a company like Toyota and to introduce, it's crazy to think, I've been doing this for the better part of 20 years now, and it's crazy to think that I still talk to people every day that are just flabbergasted when they hear that they can take their street car and drive it on a racetrack as fast as they want. No one will tell them to go slower. Even today, having done this for so many years, NASA's been around since 1991. So we're moving into our 33rd year of operation, and crazy to think that I still talk to people every day that don't know that. But that's in a nutshell, that's the challenge, right? It's finding partners like yourself, finding partners like media partners, finding partners in the world of automotive to bring awareness to the fact that this whole other side of motorsports exists. And just because you watch a race on Sunday doesn't mean you can't somehow participate. listening to Lou Gelati right before us, right? There's an OG of the racing world.
For sure.
I remember watching him back in the day at World Challenge, and
Yeah.
it's just phenomenal to be able to work in the industry of motorsport, and there's so many opportunities. So it's pretty cool to be at the forefront of it.
Well, speaking of which, you guys have seemed to sort of have found that kind of secret sauce to sort of demystifying a little bit the opportunity for regular people to go racing. I think that there's probably motorsports is one of those few sports, as a general statement, that there are probably far more spectators than there are participants, right? What I mean by that is there's probably a closer number of golf enthusiasts and golf fans, because golf is very accessible. It's not intimidating to get involved and to go do. Motorsports can be at first sight sort of very, very complicated. And so where have you guys found that secret sauce to sort of say to people, it doesn't have to be as complicated as you think it is. There are ways to get started. And to that end, when you do bring people into the fold, are you keeping them? Are people staying racing with you, or are people moving on to other things, or is it a little bit of a mix of both?
It's definitely a mix of both. We have 30-year members that have been with us since the beginning, and we have new people every year. And we have a lot of people that come and go. They fall out for a couple of years, and then they come back. And I think that's just the way it is in motorsport. And there's a lot of different disciplines, right? Whether it's the boating industry or cycling, or I think one of the most important aspects of, you talked about the secret sauce that we've been really successful at is cultivating an inclusive environment. Nothing about NASA is exclusive. Nothing about NASA screams exclusivity. We're one of, if not the most inclusive motorsports companies in the country. And I pride myself on trying to tell that story without it coming across as kind of pushing an agenda, so to speak.
Sure,
if I may be so bold.
Yep.
But I love to say, the race car is one of the few things that doesn't care who you are, what you identify as. It just wants a pilot, right? And the driver is the one that controls it. And one of the things that we've done a really good job of is using that as an effective tool for marketing, and bringing awareness to the fact that it doesn't matter who's driving the car. And when you go to a NASA event, you can see that the demographics are just crazily wide as far as who's interested in motorsport. It used to be the old school thought of, the middle-aged white guy, right?
Yeah.
Here I am.
Yeah.
But I've got two women that are instrumental in leading NASA National in different programs and areas, and they're just as passionate as I am about the organization. So it's really cool to use that awareness, and then also bring that that laser focus of inclusivity into the fray, and bringing everybody. And that's paid off in spades with the GR program with Toyota. Is the diversity of people coming out to the track, from the youngins to the oldins and everything in between, has been a big boon for us.
Yeah, I gotta also think that a big part of it is managing the very delicate balance between being competitive, and I'm talking about from the participant side, right? Where you want to go, and winning is fun. That there's no question about that. In any pursuit, winning is fun. Losing, not so much. But at the same time, not everybody can win every weekend. And so you still have to find that balance of having it be fun for people. And maybe even a layer deeper than that is, it can't be so complicated that it almost becomes a job. Because to your point, most of these people actually have real jobs that they have to do every day. This is an escape for them. So it has to be sort of fun, right? Like if the NFL can deal with salary caps and league expansions and all that sort of stuff. I just want to go play flag football and have fun on the weekend, but I want to win, right?
Yep.
How are you guys succeeding in that very delicate balance between that, keeping it competitive but also keeping it fun enough that people think, you know what, I didn't win today, but I still had a great time.
I'll rip off my friend and colleague, Brett Becker. He loves to say, NASA members come to the track for the racing and they stay for the racing family.
Yeah.
And we've done a really good job, and we'll continue to push this as hard as can be pushed. Yes, the racing is the focus, because that's, everybody wants to come and race and have fun, but it's the family outside of the racing that you build. It's the NASA family. It's one of my favorite phrases, NASA family. Mm-hmm. Everybody in NASA, every NASA member is part of the NASA family, and everybody comes and has a great time, regardless of if they're driving in HPDE, time trial, or one of the many race classes that we have. And that inclusive environment is very welcoming. It's, you know, I'm a product of it. I got started, you know, more than 20 years ago in NASA before I worked for NASA, and came up in the HPD side of the business and built my Honda into a Honda Challenge car, and just learned everything about the racing and the classing from all of my fellow competitors that wanted to beat me, but they wanted to beat me because I was the best version of me, not because they had a trick up their sleeve that I didn't have. And that's been a kind of a driving force behind a lot of the grassroots classes. Because let's face it, you know, it is grassroots racing. And it was, again, I'll go back to listening to Lou Gelati talking about, you know, waiting for the call from the Ferrari team. And I used to think the same thing.
I've been waiting for that call myself, but
right. My favorite was always, you know, thinking that I was going to do so well in the Saturday, Sunday racing that Roger Penske was going to call me on Monday morning, right. And that call never came for me. Right. But I like to push and illustrate that it really is about the experience and the opportunity of getting to race, and less about winning, because the winning is kind of the cherry on the top. But if you're not enjoying it for what it is, you're going to burn yourself out so quickly in the world of motorsport.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I wish I could tell my younger self.
Right. Hindsight is always 20/20.
Always.
You've mentioned a couple of different things. HDPE, there's race series or door-to-door, there's time trial. Just for the sake of our audience, can you just break those down a little bit for us and tell us about what each one is about, who it targets, and maybe even to the extent of what are the vehicles or the adaptations, the upgrades that you can do to be successful in any one of those categories?
Sure. NASA's the main brunt of NASA's business is broken down into our HPDE, our high performance driving events side, which is set up as 1 through 4, with varying levels of experience. So you start in HPD 1, you move to 2, and then into 3, and then when you're a veteran, you're in 4.
Now, let me just pause there for a second. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, because I don't, that I have a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Do I still start in HDPE 1?
You absolutely would. Yes. Now there's always caveats to just about everything, right? And
right.
It would honestly depend on your racing resume and your experience. And we have a tremendous number of fantastic people in the NASA organization that would work with you to get you set up to where you were supposed to be. Right. The idea is to give you the most customer friendly experience and the best track day experience that you can pay for. Yeah. And we've got 15 regions across the country that are managed by our regional directors, and they have staff under them that do a fantastic job of this. So if you wanted to come out for a NASA weekend, you'd simply sign up on the drivenasa.com website, get yourself a membership, select from one of the 150 events we have across the country, and sign up for your HPDE. What would generally happen is the regional director would get notified that you are a new member to their region and you signed up. Now, if you signed up for HPD 1 because you read through all the stuff, perfect, great. If you sign up for HPD 3 because you've been doing track days for the last 20 years and you didn't know somehow about NASA until your buddy said, come to the NASA event with me, the regional director would likely reach out to you and say, hey, can you let me know what your experience level is and what you've been doing all these years and why you signed up for HPD 3. And when you'd graduate from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, the second part of your question was who participates in the different areas. HPD is really for everybody. It's for anybody that wants to go out and enjoy how amazing a GT3 RS is to drive on track, or they're just getting a start in their GR86 and they want to go out and start to learn the ins and outs of high performance driving and what it means to become a better driver. HPD 1 is where you'd start with that. And we'd put an instructor in the car with you, and she would ride with you all weekend to help you increase your knowledge and gain exposure and experience and move up. If you got the itch to be competitive and you didn't want let's face it, building a race car and towing it to the track and all the ins and outs of that is a bit more than having a street car. So if you just wanted to be competitive and compete against others, but not necessarily have to dive down the rabbit hole of building a race car and towing it to the track, time trial is our perfect opportunity for you. It's a specific way where we have classified cars across different levels of class. It basically accommodates any level of modification, any type of car, virtually anything. And what you're effectively doing is you're using the clock, the time watch, the stopwatch to compete against other folks. So if you and I were running our cars in TT3, time trial 3, time trial 3 is a 10-to-1 power to weight class. And you'd try to beat my lap time and I'd try to beat your lap time all day. And whoever had the fastest.
It's kind of like single car qualifying.
Correct. Yep. And typically it's over 3 or 4 sessions in a day. How much track time and the levels of varying track time you get is up to the region. And it's funny, like different areas of the country, it's all based in the United States, but different areas of the country operate just a little bit differently, right? They have a little different expectations. And if you wanted to take a deeper dive and go into the full race category and compete wheel to wheel and see who finishes the race first, then we have a breadth of opportunities and classing for you, regardless of what you have, what you built, what kind of modification level it has. We've got everything from full-blown prototypes to the average spec Miata racing. Yep. And it's all fun. It doesn't matter how fast you're going, it's all fun.
Totally. What in the few minutes we have left, tell us a little bit about maybe what's happening in 2024, any big changes, anything that's coming down the pipe that we can look forward to?
Yeah, we've got a couple really exciting things. We're not quite at the point we're going to announce them, but a couple new classes that we're going to be announcing. We've got some refinements that we're polishing out right now with our Super Touring time trial category. Most of our 2024 rules are already published and available on the NASA website. We've got just it's crazy about that kind of question, right? Like the size and scope of all the stuff that we have going on. We've got more autocross events coming up next year, drifting events. We've got an industry leading program called HPD Rewards program, where you're going to have more and more rewards available to you as you progress from HPD 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, from varying levels of sponsors and product partners and whatnot. So it's exciting, man. Lots of good stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, a couple things. You mentioned product partners, sponsors. Is there anything within any of the classes where you're obligated to run a particular tire, a particular fuel, a particular spring or shock, or any of these kinds of things? Do any of those rules exist within any of the NASA classes?
Absolutely. Yeah. We have a very long-standing partnership with Toyo Tires. Toyo has been instrumental in a number of our spec classes. And there are a number of spec Toyo classes that require the use of the Proxys RR. We have Maxxis is another tire partner that works with us on the Spec E30 platform. MCS shocks, they are a spec shock for a number of our classes. Hawk Brakes has been another long time partner of NASA and worked with us to develop different products and whatnot for different classes. So yeah, absolutely. Most of the time, those are put together in the effects to try and save money for our members. Some sort of special discount deal. And a lot of times there's contingency programs that are put together. It's amazing. Toyo paid out for our national championship event upwards of $50,000 in cash.
Impressive.
So it's pretty amazing what you can do when you have good partners.
Great. And final question before we split, what's for somebody who's totally new and wants to just come in and try something out, what's a kind of a budget that they could expect to have to put forward to just get started?
That's a great question. Just to go experience an HPDE event and dip your foot your toe in the water, I guess is a good way to put it. Go to the Drive NASA website, find a local region for you and a track that you want to visit. Generally, HPD entries are anywhere between $150 for the day and $500-600 for the weekend. It really is it's track dependent because some tracks are just a lot more expensive to operate at.
Sure.
Outside of that, your car just needs to have your car needs almost nothing, honestly. Most cars are in a safe, operatable state. You just need to have sufficient brake pad thickness, and a safe set of tires. You don't need special tires or race tires or anything like that. In fact, we actually discourage people from doing that if they're just starting out, because the more movement and the more sound the tire produces, the easier it is for you to learn what you should and shouldn't be doing behind the wheel. And outside of that, that's about it. You'd need a NASA membership. And a fun-filled weekend of HPDE, and you're off to the races.
Sounds great. Jeremy, thank you for taking the time to chat with us today, and best of luck to you guys in 2024.
Thanks so much, George, and great to have you here. Great to be a part of EPARTRADE. Thanks again for the invite.
And thank you, Jeremy, and good luck with your series. You're doing a brilliant job, so thank you.
Registering on EPARTRADE is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to EPARTRADE.